Okay, number 2 from the studio in the basement. Man, what a trip from Lake of the Ozarks with Mike and the boys. They were pulling some water. As you can tell, we've had plenty of rain, so whenever we get rain like that and Truman starts filling up like that, it is phenomenal below the dam. We're going right behind the dam, guys. I mean, this isn't rocket science here, but it is hard to beat when they are pulling that much water. I don't remember what they were pulling Thursday. Yesterday they were pulling 39,000. Today I heard they were pulling 40, and I think 40 again tomorrow. That's always subject to change, but you know, when they're pulling that much water, it is ripping down through there, and all those fish pull up in there because it's like a dinner bell for the buffet. So I'm just going to showcase that this week. I left my sit and drift sticks in the boat. So Mike has got them up at his house, but I grabbed an old spook, which you bass guys, if you guys want custom painted spooks, I'll paint them. I'll still only charge you $4, but I won't put the hardware on there. If you want me to, I will, but it's going to be more than $4. So that's all that is. Like I showed on the video, it's just a 4-inch. I can get bigger. So they make a jumbo or a large that's bigger than 4 inches. So if you want the bigger one, I can get the bigger one and paint it for you. Just let me know that when you call with your order. But yeah, so you saw the video of how we were using that. One thing that I would mention is like maybe a little shorter on the line that this is on, because it has a tendency, not all the time, it's sometimes if it's too long, it will get wrapped around where the line that the sinker's on, and it can kind of give you a problem. But just remember that maybe about that long on the line that this is on, maybe a little bit longer, but you know, but yeah, it just sits there. And like I said in the video, it just sits there, and the bait's hanging off back there, and it just rattles, and they can find it. And man, yes, I didn't post anything yesterday other than the pictures, but the catfish bite yesterday was crazy. So like I said, they're going to be running water, so that bite's going to be like that. I think lake level was 719 or 720, and normal 706. So they're going to be pulling water for a while. So, and guys, it's simple. Like, drop in right there at Bledsoe Ferry or Drake Harbor in Warsaw. And your best bait though is fresh caught shad. And when that current's going down through there that fast, any little side cove or any little break off the normal river channel that's got a cut where those shad can get out of that fast current, that's where you're going to find the shad. I will say yesterday, where we normally get bait, there was guys in there fishing, and they weren't about to let any of us in there to get bait. Live scope was a game changer. I'm not going to get into all of the do's and don'ts of live scope and all that, but we have it. It's a tool that we utilize. But man, it saved the day getting bait yesterday. You could just scope those balls of bait. You knew exactly where they were in front of the boat. Throw it out. You can actually watch the net come down over the balls of bait, and you're going fishing. So that was really nice. Like I already said in the video that I posted, how to use them. We use circle hooks, and I'm not sure the size. I wish I had all my gears at Micah's. The Giacomo boat we keep here, but Mike has got a big shop, so he's got the big boat. But I wish I had our box with the catfish hooks, but we use a circle hook, not a giant one. I'd say like a medium-sized one. But man, I don't know how it works, but whoever came up with that's a genius, because it just gets them right there every time in the corner of the mouth. They hardly ever get off, and it's just super strong. We use 40-pound. I think Micah couldn't find 40-pound big game. I think he got 50 pound, but 40, 50-pound, that'll pretty much get what you need. We used to use braid, and braid is good in some circumstances. It's kind of a pain sometimes to deal with. So 40-pound Berkley big game. We like high vis green, just so when you got them out off the back of the boat, you can see where the lines are, and you know, just it's easier to see. So one tip I will give though, we have 2 rod holders off each side of the boat. One has, they each have 2 rod holders. But when the current's going that strong, we'll cast one out. It goes in. So if you're standing on the back of your boat, and some of you guys already know this stuff, and that's fine. But like the videos I put out and like stuff like this, I'm just trying to help guys that want to catch more fish with their kids or family or friends or whatever. They don't know this. That's why I loved In Fisherman growing up, because, they were very good about bait, how to use that bait. They had a 3-part system called FLP, Fish, Location, Presentation. And that, if you can get those 3 things, you'll catch more fish. That holds true even today, even with like LiveScope and all this stuff that's coming out. You still got to know the fish you're fishing for. You got to know the location where they're going to be and what presentation they want. And that goes the same with catfishing. Like when you're using this, that's part of a Santee Cooper rig setup. It's what they call that. But sometimes they don't want it floating. Sometimes they want it on the bottom. And I call it sit and drift, because you can sit and do this, or you can drift, just drift and use this. That's why I named it Sit and Drift Sticks. So, but yeah, anyway, you cast it out in that current, and it's so strong that it wants to swing it back behind the boat. So the first rod that gets casted out, and if you're on the back of the boat, we got our 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we do it. Cast it out, the current brings it back, that goes in number 4. Again, that rod goes in number 3, and then so on and so forth. And then when you catch a fish, say you catch a fish on number 4. Well, I don't want to get all that stuff tangled up. So as soon as number 4 fish gets in, we'll just move 3 over to 4 and 2 to 3 and 1 to 2, if that makes sense. Just keep everything rotating so it doesn't get all clustered. And that goes the same with trolling crankbaits for crappie. Exact same thing. Same setup. Throw it out and move it over and do the same thing, and you won't get tangled up and it doesn't become a nightmare. So a little bit on that. Hardware on baits. So I got a big shipment in, a bunch of crankbaits, a bunch of my swim shads. I got some really cool, a guy wanted 4 DD16s, be doing those. But hardware on my baits, I'm getting really, really good split rings, all different. I got all different sizes, really good split rings, and going on these swim shads and these Glover glides, like Gamakatsu, okay? Not cheap. So some of that is why the price is the way it is, because I've been there with cheap hooks. These ain't cheap. They're good. And so Gamakatsu, 1/0 and size 1. I can do different sizes. A lot of guys, I'm finding out, which I was told this would happen, they don't want any hardware on their swim shads or the glide baits. They want to put their own hardware on there because different hardware does different stuff, and that's great. But let me know that, because there is a price difference. It's cheaper with no hardware, obviously, but if you want the hardware, that's fine. I got guys that want the hardware too, and I'm putting the hardware on there. So it's not a problem. But just know that's one of the things that you're getting with a custom guy. You're not getting just low to mid-grade hardware. You're getting top of the line hardware and hooks. So, and another thing with this swim shad, a buddy of mine, Clint Long, that's helped me out tremendously, man. It like really helped me out. He is a co-angler on the MLF side, Toyota series. And I gave Clint a few of these when I was wanting them tested out, just to see what he thought. He said a good selling point to these would be that the co-angler in the back of the boat, this is small enough for them that they can throw it on a jig rod, and it's light enough that the co-angler in the back of the boat can get away using this without winging a huge, glide bait or something. And that was a good point. I'm glad he told me that. So thanks, Clint. Appreciate that. But seriously, Clint Long, Justin Smith, Sean Bowling, man, those 3 guys have really helped me out. And these guys know what they're doing, okay? Like, so when I say when I'm talking about these guys, that's why I'm asking them, because I know they know what they're talking about and I trust their feedback. So there's that. Let's see. And just to end it with, I told you I was going to throw a little Bible in there. So, last week was Job 37:14, my company verse about Job standing still and just admiring God's creation on the way down to the Ozarks on Thursday, going across Mile Long Bridge. The sunrise, that's kind of what I was talking about. Just, it was beautiful. Just beautiful morning, beautiful sunrise. And if you can just stop and check that out, I'm going to bounce off that this week. And this is Psalms 19:1. The heavens are telling of the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands. And so what I'm trying to get you to see is, if you can stop and check it out, then God tells you right here, he's trying to tell you something. He's telling of his glory, and his expanse is declaring the work of his hands. Like, I made that, and it's for you and for the glory of me, not me, but God, And I'm going to go into one more real quick. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, and I want to focus mainly on the second part, but the verse says, Ecclesiastes 3:11, he has made everything appropriate in its time. He has also set eternity in their heart, yet so that man will not find out the work which God has done from the beginning even to the end. So when it talks in there, he has set eternity in their heart. So whether, I know I thought about this, and I think most people have thought about this, because it literally says God put that in your heart and in my heart, that he put eternity in our hearts so we think about it. And if I'm being honest, I did, even when I didn't care anything about God. Like, I would think, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to be doing? What is this life all about? And what am I supposed to do? And man, when I did come to Jesus, like, that's where I found my purpose. And like, he does care about every little detail of your life, and he cares about what's going on in your life. And he set eternity in your heart so you would think about that, and I would think about that. And then just to tie that in with Psalms 19:1 and then back to Job 37, like, he put that in your heart, and he's just trying to give you a visual. Like, I hear that sometimes when I talk to people about Jesus. Well, I can't see him. How do you know he's real? Well, it says it. He put, the heavens are telling of the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands. And just like Thursday morning, going down the Ozarks, man, seeing that, and if you think that just happened from a big bang, you got more faith than I do. Because I don't know how in the world all this stuff that I see out when I'm fishing, I don't know how all that just pops into place with a bang. But hey, I just wanted to share that. I kind of been studying that Psalms 19 and the Ecclesiastes, and just try to tie that together with what I said last week. But that's kind of all I got this week. And like I said last week, I'm just going to try to do a weekly thing. I got all your guys' orders. I think that everybody's called in, and so I will stay in touch. I've really been trying to be good about staying in touch and making sure I know exactly what you guys want. Listen, like on my swim shads and glide baits or whatever lure, I'm custom painter. So whatever, this guy wanted bluegill colors. He wanted it to look like a bluegill. So I'm going to paint those to look like a bluegill. But like on these or the glides or whatever, the 1.5, 2.5s, I did do some cool, I'm going to use this as a tester, but these are 4.5 Angry Glides, like kind of just the natural shad on that one. I just painted that one that color so I could see it when it's in the water in a swimming pool, but I got those too. But anyway, you guys can pick whatever color you want. So a lot of guys are telling me what color they want, and that's fine. I mean, if you just want it like how you see it in the store on other baits, that's fine. I'll paint it like that too, however you want it. So, but hey, thanks for everybody that's ordering. Like, this is the craziest thing. Our pastor says, if you can explain it, God didn't do it. And I cannot explain to you what has happened to me in the last 2 weeks, especially. It's been a fun ride, and I hope it keeps going. And I just thank you guys for watching this, and I'll stay in touch. Love you guys.